Look, I cannot imagine. I know what it's like being in a live studio with him. What on earth is it like trying to do business with him?
He deals with Barry more than me, so that's the best bit now for Luke. He's never had to deal with me directly.
There's Barry and Dara, or Peterborough, Watford, and Tottenham. Trying to buy a player from them three would be the toughest.
Really?
Yeah, and I always remember when I was at Watford, I went with the chairman Scott and Gino. We went to see Daniel Levy to buy Capu, and was in there, having a negotiation. And then Daniel just said, "Guys, I've got something you want." So you paid the price that I want, and it's a bit with if someone wants to buy from Gino and Scott, and the same would be if someone wants to buy from Dara and Barry. If you want their player, pay what they're asking.
I remember in January we were getting bids off the club for a player, and the owner was, it'd been in football a couple of years, but not long, and he said to Barry, "Are you out of your mind turning this down? Like you're Peterborough." And somebody said, "Yeah, but have you seen the deals they've done over the years? This is what they do. Like, you don't nick their players for anything." And I'm not trying to brag about that. At the end of the day, you just say yes or no, right?
Yeah.
When I look at it, more lately, you've been West Brom sporting and technical director. Before that, Nottingham Forest sporting director. Before that, Watford sporting director.
Yeah.
At Watford, I mean, how you're still in such good health, I don't really know, mate, but I congratulate you for it. How did you sell the job to prospective Watford managers? Because that is one revolving door.
Yeah.
Still a big club.
Do you know what, Jim? Back in 2014, when I started with Watford, that was my first role was sporting director. Previously, I'd been head of recruitment, chief scout at clubs. And it was probably the best place to go and learn. Yeah. Because of
and Scott's very good.
How they go on.
Yes.
So at the time I walked in, Scott Duxbury was a CEO. He's still the CEO and chairman now, and Gino Pozzo, the owner. The difference with that club to any other, which gave me a great grounding, was Gino Pozzo is at the training ground most days, and that's if you go to the other 92 clubs, it's very, very rare. I'm sure when Dara's over, you're at the training ground, but that's his role. I always remember my first day. There was a big office. There was 2 desks in each corner,
hands on,
and this is your desk, and Gino's in the opposite corner. And I thought, perhaps you're just here to welcome me first day. Yeah. No, this is how it works. And it's like anything. Once you get used to it, it becomes normal.
Did it take a bit getting used to?
Don't you want to see the owners?
What's he doing there?
He's involved in everything, Jim, in player recruitment, in terms of how he owns the club. He sees it as his business with Udinese, whereas a lot of owners, a football club will be a small part of their business profile.
How did you feel about it?
At first, I was shocked. I've never seen it before or worked with that. But with time, you just it's the norm.
How do you climb the ladder if you don't meet an owner? Isn't that brilliant to work near the owner?
But you know what? Once you left the building, you didn't hear from him. Because you've done your day's work, unless there was something to come up in the transfer window, then you'd have maybe a conversation even, but you then go back into work the next morning and start again. Whereas I used to speak to other sporting directors where their owners are in Asia, America, and they're speaking to them at all times of the evening and things like that. And sometimes decision making, it got done like that because Gino's there. Yeah. That's one of the other pluses. When you want something done.
Now, be honest with me, Luke. Gino Pozzo being in the training ground, working yards from you, was that a help or hindrance to you?
It was a help for me, and at times, though, Jim, I think it was a hindrance for certain managers. And the reason why I said it's at a period, we had players that come from Udinese, which is Gino's other team. Yeah. We had players that come from other Italian clubs. Yeah. And with the owner being around and they weren't in the manager's plans, they found it easier to go straight to the owner. And I don't think that is a good thing with the manager being on board. Yeah. So if there was a negative, that would be it.
Yeah. And I take it nobody took it upon themselves to suggest, Mr. Pozzo, do you think you're maybe being a bit too familiar around us all here?
No,
you'd never have done that.
No, I mean, tomorrow I'm there all day, but we have a massive recruitment meeting based on next year, plan A or B. So because when I'm over, I take the chance to spend time with
Luke's talking about daily
No,
occurrence.
I've got Barry, I've got Liz, who does a brilliant job, in the football recruitment with Baz. I don't need to be there every day. But they know where I am when they need me. I'll speak 3-4 times a day to everyone.
But
I can't judge him for that, by the way.
No,
but you know what, Jim, with that, is you've got the owner, but you've got Scott Duxbury as CEO, and he manages everyone brilliantly.
Yeah, Scott's excellent.
In terms of people's expectations, if there's a frustration, we can't get something done, it's a matter of time, when to go and have a knock on Gino's door. And this is all you learn with him being there day by day. Scott always said, wait to have a meeting with him rather than ask for something over the phone. Yeah. Because that type. So Scott controlled it all. Yeah. And obviously the period that I had there, I learned so much. We had some success.
Yeah.
You know, with promotion, staying in the league, I play a small part as a sporting director. That's what you do.
Play a big part.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was a great learning curve for
But
me.
look, having said that, 20 managers in the Pozzo's reign at Watford.
Yeah.
Does this model work?
Well, I think other people have taken on their model now, haven't they? You know, I look in the Championship and with Birmingham, 6 managers, okay, 2 caretaker, and listen, I don't think they'd have Gary Rowe if
Yeah, of course.
If
Tony
Mowbray
had been,
Tony Mowbray
if Tony had been well enough.
is well enough.
God bless him.
You know, Huddersfield are on 2 or 3, Millwall are on 3, Charlton are on 3. That was Watford's 3, 4, 5 years ago. Now it seems to be the norm. So, you know, Watford now tend to stick with managers slightly longer. The only thing they have done over the last couple of 2 or 3 years, which Gino didn't like to do previously, is do a caretaker. So Tom Cleverley in a minute's caretaker. He didn't really believe in the caretaker role.
They always had someone quickly ready to go in.
And there was a little bit of a hiccup when I was first there, the year we got promoted with Billy McKinley.
Yeah.
Billy McKinley was Oscar Garcia's assistant. Oscar Garcia resigned. Billy McKinley got the job. And 2 games later, we played on a Tuesday and a Saturday, beat Brighton, drew with Brentford, and he's been removed because Slaviša Jukanovic coming in. But what should have happened is he should have been caretaker instead of saying this is our new manager.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was the mistake then. But now Gino, you know, caretaker with Tom being there to the end of the season. They've done it for Hayden Mullins a couple of times.
Sure.
So they are starting to change.
Who's the Gianni, the recruitment guy they brought back? Because we dealt with him during the British Sambalonga purchase, but Barry told me when they were bidding on Hector in January, one of our players, and he was dealing. That's him. Yeah, good guy. We dealt with him years ago. He came back, didn't he?
Yeah,
recently?
Gianluca had a couple when Gino bought the club in 2011-12. He had a couple of years there. He moved on, and I come in, and he joined just before Christmas, I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
so he's there now.
He's back there.
And why did you get a bullet from there? What happened?
That was a lovely question, wasn't it?
Listen, it's hard. It's what happens in football.
Yeah,
it's what happens in
we
football.
all get sacked in football.
Yeah,
everyone. Everyone gets sacked in football.
Well, you don't. You're still
Well,
there.
I'm the owner, but if I worked in football, I get sacked.
How
when
did
you
it
get a
end
job
for
in
you,
football,
Luke?
yeah.
I'll put it in a bit more nicely.
It ended in a nice way because I still go back there. I was there at Good Friday. And I think it's just a time. Managers, sporting directors with Gino, you have 3-4 seasons at max, and then someone new.
Yes.
It's a cycle.
Yeah.
And by the way, Luke's excellent at his job.
Of course.
So any owner out there, and I've always said people need directors of football. I was one of the first to do it.
Right.
And luckily, I've got the best in the business working for me. But for people out there looking for somebody, we've dealt with him. He's as good as his word. He's a good guy.
Were you asked by Pozzo about Rob Edwards, Luke?
Yes, at the time I was consulting for Watford.
Yeah.
And, you know, they wanted to go down that young British manager. I think Gino had liked what he'd seen with Graham Potter at Brighton, with Steve Cooper at Forest. Obviously, they weren't going to get either of them. And I was just asked to put a shortlist together. Rob was on that. He obviously ended up getting the job. And it's a shame it lasted 10 games. Obviously, for Rob, now he's moved on. And he can potentially look even worse.
Yeah,
but, you know, that was just me putting what I thought were people that could do the job. Scott really went for Rob aggressively from Forest Green, and I don't think they were too happy. So Scott knew what he wanted, and the potential.
He got it right,
and they got it right. But
what's the best bit of business you've ever done?
Good question.
As director of football,
I always look. People always ask that there and say, "What's the best player?" One of the best players is people like Ben Watson.
Sure.
That we're in the Championship.
Brilliant.
Under Slaviša Jukanovic, it's January. Wigan are bottom of the league. He can't get in the Wigan team.
Yeah.
Malcolm Mackay wouldn't pick him for whatever reason. He comes to us. He was different class, and it's just that British player that we needed. Because we had a lot of foreign players. Troy was leading experience. Yeah. He then goes and plays in the Premier League the following year for us. Under Kike was outstanding.
But I ain't going to get you a job. I'm going to ask you again because this helps you get a job. What's the best deal you've made to make a few quid for an owner? Because that's what owners care about, right? Is money, Jim. So what's the best deal you've done making money on a transfer?
Look at the most recent one, Pereira.
There you go. How much?
Bought him for 10, sold him for 30.
Well done.
Now you got a job.
Luke
You've
Dowling,
made 20 million.
Yeah.
Inside how long?
Yeah.
How long did that take, that deal? 10 million to 30. How long was he at the club?
2 seasons, yeah.
Bosh.
There you go. Question answered.
Yeah.
Luke Dowling, you can come again. Luke Dowling with us. Stay with us. Luke, great stories coming from you, my friend.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.